that Nux Talk To's DanDaDan is perfect and no one gets why. Now, I think I get why. Because I love DanDaDan, and the theme song makes my baby dance, which is cute, and that's a win. That's an epic W for the win, dude. It's awesome that my baby dances. But also, I think the reason it works so well is the romance involved in the and how it understands, like, it understands how relationships work. I think that's really why. And they like forced the guy to he sat down and read like a bunch of romance manga for a long time to understand how to make like a good romance story work. And I think the way that he built it in there without jeopardizing the action while still doing like the cool shonen tropes and stuff, and giving all the characters like real depth and stuff, I think there's it's something profoundly brilliant where almost every character from DanDaDan feels like authentic and real.
There are a lot of really funky anime out there. Anime with all sorts of plot lines that go in all sorts of directions. A lot of them, they just try to survive with cheap tricks, coast on a popular genre, and just basically tread ground in the past, constantly retelling the same stories in slightly different ways. Like, well, this isn't an anime problem. This is an everything problem. Everyone tries to tread ground. The reason why tropes are because the tropes are popular, making an actual human centipede endless cycle of shit where they consume some shit and they poop.
This is 100% factual. Now, I watch a lot of anime and I know that there's a lot of recycled shit and stuff, but I still am on anime right now because of the fact that I got so sick of seeing the same monotonous bullshit that was steadily getting worse with modern movies and stuff. Because I was a movie guy. I've always been I was always a big movie guy, and I started just like getting sick of being preached to. For one, that was something that was really annoying to me because it was getting in the way of good storytelling. It's like. And then I would see a review of the movie, and I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, no, it was just a preachy piece of shit. Like, why the fuck are you sitting here just talking down to me, bro? Like, what the fuck is that about? And then I just started getting annoyed with it, and then my buddies told me to watch anime, and it's like, I haven't gotten sick of the repeating storylines yet. It's something new and fresh for me.
It out, and then someone else takes that shit and uses it again to mold another beautiful statue out of the shit of this previous trope. This analogy is getting complicated, but I wanted to tell you that there is an anime by the name of DanDaDan that I have recently completed, and it takes this entire concept of needing to fit into a certain box and absolutely destroys it, like straight up ass blasts the box. This is a story that tells an incredibly beautiful, poignant message while being absolutely all over the place, beautiful visually and auditorily, writing some of the most relatable...
I am actually worried about the visuals because it is gorgeously stunning visually, but I remember watching Tower of God, or I think it's Tower of God. It's on it's a Crunchyroll original, I believe. And the first season was one of the most gorgeously animated things I'd ever seen. And then the second season was just basic anime bullshit.
And best characters I've seen in a very long time, with fascinating world building, incredible lore, and honestly, in my opinion, from my perspective, which is the purpose of this video, not only would I say that Momo and Okarun are two overpowered anime characters done right, but I would go as far as to say that the entire setting, the entire plot, and the entire purpose of DanDaDan is to tell one story. It has one theme, one thread that literally travels from every single fucking point of this entire goddamn show and ties it
It's love
all together. From the really cute love story of the main characters, to the side characters, to the grandma who, oh my god, defies every gender norm stereotype on the planet. Holy moly, she awakened things inside me that I never knew existed. Every alien...
Alright, Nux, stop turning into a cum falcon. Otherwise, I'm not gonna let you live down your fucking... I mean, this is opposite of Lolly, so I guess I can't pull your cancellation drama up. He'll pull it up. Nux always likes to talk about how he gets canceled all the time. That is like one of his biggest arcs, is I get canceled every 2 seconds, which I can't wait to be big enough to be canceled every 2 seconds, you fucking bragging piece of shit.
Every demon, there is one common thread that ties everything together, and to get to that, which we will, at about the 75% mark of this video, we are going to require some build-up.
I ripped that off from Nuxtenor, by the way. When you see 100% in my videos, I 100% rip that off from Nuxtenor. I thought it was funny. I thought it was engaging. So I started putting that in my titles. Because I'm a dirty fucking thief sometimes. I'm a dirty fucking thief. When I see something's working for a certain content creator, I think, how can I twist that and spin it up into my own butthole like a razor blade induced dildo? And I say, I'm getting this shit done. I am becoming God.
Here. So, we're not retreading too much tread ground, just like this anime that I have gotten to actually start really loving. But today, we're blast from the past old style Nux video. No one understands DanDaDan. 10,000 likes, I'll bring back the No One Understands series, and the next episode will be on Delicious and Dungeon. Definitely subscribe.
Dude, okay, I don't know. I'm already liking this a lot. This needs more likes, I guess.
Incredibly basic premise to this entire show.
This is way better than his reaction content. I like his reaction content. I think it's pretty quality. I'm already fucking love with this. I think Nux needs to do more shit like this.
That you have an outspoken, extroverted, incredibly popular girl by the name of Momo. Everyone loves Momo. Momo's awesome. She's out there. She's rambunctious. She has billions of boyfriends. She's doing her thing. She has one little quirky bit to her. She believes in demons and evil spirits. And you got your main character, Okarun, your classic virgin nerd guy that everyone picks on, everyone makes fun of. He's introverted, he sticks to himself, he's just out there reading his nerdy fucking shit all day long.
So something I actually wanted to say, like cutting in again, I think that they did the nerdy character the best in this. I've seen the nerdy, like kind of otaku character done so much in anime, and they're always so insufferable and they suck, and I think he stands on his ground a lot, and I think that's what makes him best, because he's not just a whiny little bitch the whole time. And a lot of these otaku characters become insufferable fucking pussies. I fucking hate them. They're all like whinier versions of Naruto, and Naruto's a bitch and we all know it.
And a little quirky weirdness he has to him is he believes in aliens. Momo thinks that Okarun is a whack job for his idiosyncrasies, and Okarun thinks that Momo is a nutcase for her idiosyncrasies. So they put it to the test. They each dare each other. Momo ends up proving that there are actually aliens when she gets kidnapped by aliens, and probably one of the most uncomfortable scenes that makes it incredibly hard to recommend DanDaDan to literally anyone to watch. And then...
Dude, it's a fucking awesome scene, dude. It's fucking wild. So here's the thing that's so great about DanDaDan, and why I love it so much, is DanDaDan pushes the bar. It pushes the bar with the uncomfort, and it kind of heralds to something like where I talk about, like in Berserk, right? Berserk is so brilliant because Berserk doesn't shy away from the brutality, and this show teeters on that same line but utilizes it in a comedic effect, and I think that's brilliant that it does that. It takes this almost takes everything almost way too far and then reels it back in with its comedic effect, which makes it land harder.
Got on the flip side Okarun, who gets possessed by an evil spirit of a creepy old lady that is trying to steal his testicles. More on that in a little, because yes, we are actually tying in the testicle plotline into the overarching analysis of this video. Didn't want to mention that earlier because I was afraid to scare you off too early. Okay, now make believe you didn't hear any of that and we move on. Eventually, Momo figures out that she actually does have latent psychic abilities. She's broken, busted, overpowered as fuck, wipes out a bunch of aliens doing that shit. Turns out when she believed in spirits because her grandma was allegedly a spirit medium, well, it turns out she was a spirit medium. She is the fucking Gojo Satoru of DanDaDan, except she can't leave her fucking house. On the flip side, Momo, who had his testicles stolen by an evil spirit, manages at some point to combine with this spirit, gain epic grandma.
And the funniest thing about like their spirit powers is how fucking overpowered they are against the aliens, bro. It's so funny, dude. And like they think it's all because of his like dick power, because he got his balls taken. It's great.
Powers, as they're called. We're not talking about grandmas for the entire video, okay? All right. Okay, that was a lie. We're gonna be talking about grandmas for the entire video.
Yeah, we gotta talk about grandmas, dude. Sometimes grandmas just be looking juicy as fuck, and you just want to plow them titties, bro. Sometimes you just want to stretch some old saggy boobies around your cock tied into a knot and fuck the knot hole, bro. What are we talking about here?
Eventually, after overcoming certain obstacles, he is able to transform into this really badass anime transformation, overpowered done right, where he basically loses his entire nerd shtick persona. He becomes a lethargic bastard, and he is super fast, very powerful, and basically him and Momo working together, they tackle multiple...
And the animation through all of this is fucking fire. There's not a single part of, and this is something I was saying, and people criticized me when I criticized Invincible. Now, I think Invincible has an incredible story, and I want that to be known that I really like Invincible, and IGN is stupid for giving it a 4 out of 10, especially on that season finale. But I can look at DanDaDan and be like, that right there is what you should be doing, Amazon. That is the type of shit you need to be doing. And then I can, there's a fucking example. There's an example. It's right in front of your face. You're waiting for a dick to suck, and the dick is called DanDaDan. Suck it, and then realize what you could be doing with Invincible.
Intergalactic supernatural threats over the course of this entire show. That was the super abridged plotline, and we are going to be dissecting every morsel of that over the next couple of minutes.
Ooh, this is turning into a lore dive. Ooh, I like a lore dive. I like I like lining up a bunch of lore penises and just like having them bukkake my face. I like having a bunch of spread lore vaginas where they pour their waterfalls right into my mouth. It's called lore waterfalls.
On this surface level, this absolutely looks like it's your classic go-to shonen battle anime. You know, you got your girl with her powers, you got your dude with his powers, they're fighting aliens, they love each other, guy gets girl, everything's happy. Basically, it sounds like your generic battle fantasy. The irony is, that can't be more wrong. When defining this plot, based on the aforementioned knowledge that you have of different tropes in anime and in other pieces of fiction, that's what you think this show is gonna be. It's not just bombastic and hilarious with a fantastic cast of characters, but to be honest,
there is something that is that I want to say here, because it was something that I felt that was almost perfect about Mob 100. So Mob 100 is another fan. If you like DanDaDan, the closest thing you will find to DanDaDan is Mob 100. You need to watch Mob 100. It's fantastic, because like One Punch Man was the first project that guy did, and then he went to Mob 100, and I think Mob 100 is even better in the character development aspects than even One Punch Man. And I think that it's almost closer to this, where it feels like there's nothing else like it, because it's almost jumping into different genres and moving away from being a shonen or anything else. It wants to be its own thing. It doesn't want to be categorized. And I feel like DanDaDan took that and does it even better. I think that it does it better than Mob 100. Now we'll have to see how this ends and how it all fits together by the time it's finished, because Mob 100 finishes perfectly. It has the perfect ending.
This is a romance psychological story, the coming of age of people, and a celebration of the years of puberty in high school, where you truly grow up and start seeing the world through adult eyes instead of the eyes of a child. That's what this story is. All the battles, all the alien fights, that's backdrop.
Dude, I love the music's just like, he's like, they're gonna come in each other's pussies, and it's gonna be beautiful because they're growing up, coming in each other's pussies. It's great. It's great.
Compared to what the actual main plot is, these two people coming out of their shells that they existed based on past traumas for individual reasons, bonding together and joining forces to actually take on the world. It is a celebration of youth, a celebration of adulthood, and more than any of that, a celebration of the very awkward transitional years in between. Now, let's look at their powers just for a second, because I outlined them to you before, but from the perspective that this is a show celebrating your formative years, let's try to understand why their powers are what they are.
Well, dude, I had to adjust, dude, because my pants had like sucked up into my balls so hard that I felt like I was the main character from DanDaDan and my balls were gone. Dude, I thought some witch cat had taken my balls and ran off into the sunset with them, and that's how like far my pants had rode up. And I was going to start talking in a deeper octave, and I already have a high-pitched nasally voice. So in case you're wondering what all the movement is on camera right now, that's what it is. And what does this have to do with DanDaDan? Go fuck yourself.
Well, let's look at Momo. Momo is the extroverted character. She had tons of boyfriends, everyone loved her, she's super popular, she's cute, all the boys in school are freaking losing their minds over her, she has tons of friends, she could do whatever she wants. She therefore decides to crush her inside yearning for understanding more about spirituality and understanding more about the demons or the spirits that are roaming around the world. She decides to crush truth and herself in order to.
Well, and I think everybody goes through this too. Here's the thing that people don't understand. In order to conform and in order to kind of figure out other people, you have two options when you start going through school, right? You start conforming, and therefore you kind of gain some popularity. You network a little better because you understand that forcing stuff that you are passionate about, even if you're passionate about it, that doesn't mean everybody else is passionate about it. So forcing that onto other people is going to annoy them. And if that's your one thing, you become really annoying and you isolate yourself. And that's like the juxtaposition, and that's why I found this so brilliant, because I remember I used to be like Okarun, right? I used to be like Okarun, and I was like this kid that was like way into superheroes, and this is at a time when like I think like Fantastic Four was like just released. I think Spider-Man 3 what came out when I was in like 6th grade, so this was like elementary school years, so superheroes weren't really the most popular thing. So I was like the little nerd kid that was, oh, Spider-Man, Punisher, and I didn't want to talk about anything else. I didn't want to try to engage. I didn't want to try to relate to anybody, and because of that I isolated myself. And I felt like everybody was against me, and I thought that everybody was my enemy. And it wasn't until I started to, it wasn't that I shoved that down. I found a balance between the two characters where I understood how to kind of figure out my passions and how to relate it to other people. And I also didn't just overwhelm them with my bullshit. And that's kind of why I think I relate to both these characters really well, because I kind of I kind of lived through what he was going through at the beginning of the story, and I've also experienced that kind of shoved down effect that she has, and it really hits close to home for me.
To be molded externally to the people around her, so she could be the popular girl, so she isn't looked at as the weird one. She's someone that always has a smile on the outside, but a big frown, a lonely frown, on the inside. Now, if you look at Okarun, he is a polar opposite of everything that I just described. Internally, he is super comfortable with the idea that he believes in aliens. Internally, he is super comfortable with the fact that he is who he is and he believes in what he believes in. His issues are the externals. He cannot at all make friends because he's just so weird with all of his wild obsessions for different things.
And I 100% was that way. I didn't understand how to present it to people, and there was a little bit of time in middle school where I shoved it all down, and I was kind of just miserable because I didn't know how to relate. And then I kind of figured out how to take it into a more of a comedic approach, and I would use it kind of as a butt of a joke at that time period where I belittle myself in a way, and it was just kind of a sad thing to do, but on the outside I was always smiling, and it took a while to find that balance. And I think finding that balance is so good for people, and it's so important. It's just something I wanted to cut in and say. I think everybody has an inner giggity schmoodle, and they have to let it go.
His flaws are all external as opposed to internal. So when they eventually become friends and bond over their new discovery of each other and of the different fantastic sci-fi fantasy elements of the world with each other, this is a relationship forged on literally being there for your friend in positions that they can't be there for themselves. Okarun gives her the position to actually start introspecting and helps her actually become more friendly and come to terms with her internal self. And on the contrary, she is willing to be an outward friend with Karun, despite the fact that she's the popular girl and he's just the nerd in high school, and he is actually able to make friends and start talking to other people, not just Momo, but other people in the school as well, helping broaden his social circle, and she can actually help him come to terms with his external self. Individually, each of them are broken in a different way, and together, not only do they make up for each other's flaws, but they enhance them as a unit, and as a combo, they're actually able to be there for each other.
A fucking unit. The biggest of units. A big, fat, stinky wiener. I had the biggest of wieners. Big old unit. He doesn't have a unit because a witch took his unit. A witch demon ghost took his little wee-wee, and then they had to get it. DanDaDan.
Now, look at how this represents itself in regards to their actual powers, because whoever put this show together is a fucking genius. Now, Momo's abilities are these...
And again, he went through some, like, crazy shit when making this show. He went through some absolute, like, mad Chad, giggle lad fucking bullshit to make this. He made sure that he researched so much because he wanted to make something different. He wanted to make something original. He wanted to make a romance shonen that had never been seen before, and I think when you put the time and effort into something, it pays off sometimes. Like, obviously, you can go too far and be too critical of yourself to where when you finally do bring it to it, it ends up like Mega Flopolis. But at the same time, I think that he understood a breaking point where he's like, okay, now I understand romance, and I'm going to tie that to what I already know about shonen, and it's just brilliant balance.
Psychic powers, spirit hands bullshit that she's able to pull out of her asshole and attack people with and shit. Now, this is a very cool power, telekinesis, whatever. It is a purely internal power, and she is someone who always was really good at the externals, but always completely floundered with the internals. So only after did she unite and combine and join forces with Okarun was she able to access her internal abilities. And on the contrary, Okarun, who always was cool internally, his flaws were external, he is a type of character that doesn't actually have these powers as an internal power system. He got these powers from the outside, from joining forces with Turbo Granny, the grandma demon spirit that stole his testicles and
Talks a lot about her titties, even though they're very flappy. Listen, I told you, this anime, it's a masterpiece. Just a lot of people might not understand it.
Dude, love me some flappy Grammy titties. We already talked about the knot, but another thing is when you're having sex with a granny, you can throw the boobies over your shoulder and they slap the back of your neck. And sometimes some dried powdered milk shoots onto your back, and it's fantastic, dude. Because then you can go jump in the bathtub and you're taking a bath milk then.
To be the masterpiece that it is. His power source comes from externals that he was only able to access after joining forces with Momo, and her powers came from internals that she couldn't access until she became friends with Okaru. A perfect, beautiful representation of how you are not whole alone.
It's perfect yin and yang, and this is like why you see some of the best couples have like, they're not complete opposites, but they're opposite in like certain regards to where they balance each other out. Like, when me and my wife go to a party, for example, I am the one that does the introductions. I'm the one that breaks the ice. I am the loud, obnoxious one, and then she reels me back in, and then she lands her jokes by reeling me back in and saying, like, then she gets comfortable because it's like she starts speaking out to reel me back in, and then she's making jokes with the other people, and she starts like opening up, and she starts becoming more of the attention. I'm the icebreaker. She's the fucking cool one, right? And because we have that dynamic, we work so perfectly together, and we have so many things that like one of us does well and then the other doesn't do well, and we like fit that balance. Now, like all couples, everybody there's always room to improve. I'm not saying go find somebody who believes everything opposite of you and then just expect it to work out right, because there needs to be like some there always is going to be like some comparisons, like he said with Okarun having like the internals down and her having the externals down. They both have something down in that regard, and they understand, and they both have like some passions that are in the occult. So they have this one line that draws together, and so they can help each other on that balance. So they have that teetering point, which is the occult, and then it's about balancing everything else around it, which is their yin and yang.
Sometimes, and you need to be there for other people in their weaknesses so they could share their strengths for your weaknesses. It is a beautiful way to show a metaphorical representation of the bond between these characters, and it's why they are so easily the core of the show. Most battle shonen are about the battles. Most shows that you watch that involve aliens and demons and fighting and shit, it's always the fights in the forefront, the epic power-ups and battles in the forefront, and the little romance plot lines are kind of the behind-the-scenes shit that definitely helps the story progress, even though they are never really the major focus. In DanDaDan, it is the complete and polar opposite of that. It flips the formula on its head. The purpose of the fights are not for the fights to be the climax, but the emotional climax between these characters have always been the forefront of the actual story. There's a little trick that I have in regards to figuring out exactly what the writers are telling you when it comes to a different show. What is the writer himself focusing on when they are telling this story? If you're watching Attack on Titan or some battle anime of some regard, the end of every single episode will end on a cliffhanger. Will the hero survive? The Titan is about to step on Eren, and then all of a sudden, oh my god, what is Eren gonna make it? And the episode fucking ends, and you sit there in your seat for a week waiting to see if the fucking foot falls on the guy, and then of course it does. It's the moment the next episode starts. But the cliffhanger was always about the battle, the threat to their life. Same with Demon Slayer, same with Naruto, same with basically every battle anime. The focus is the battles, and therefore the cliffhangers are always going to be, will the hero win? DanDaDan ends every episode on emotional cliffhangers. It's an awkward moment between the main characters, and it just goes to show that that is exactly what the perspective of the writers are when they're putting this show together. Now, the puberty formative years where everyone has to actually find out who they truly are, grow into themselves, and not just be a little kid that gets commanded and controlled by his superiors, and someone that actually starts making their own decisions and starts growing into who they are, figuring out that they are a person as an individual and not just a weird mold of the people around them forcing them into positions where they don't necessarily want to be in. I would argue that
I do want to say something on the emotional pull. I know it's a little late, but I thought you might say more on it. I think he's 100% right. I think that, like I said, the dude spent like fucking endless amount of time. He basically found every romance manga and he read that bitch because he wanted to create authentic, like true romance and true character buildup that you could find in more of a romance manga without it going full romance. He wanted to find that balance, which I think I think this is something that a lot of people kind of forget about with like perspectives, and this is like what made something like South Park so great for so many years, is because South Park always tries to bring as many different perspectives to the problem as possible to try to not appease to only one group of people, to try to appease to a bunch of different people, but not like sacrifice himself in doing so. And what I mean by that is, like, you look at DanDaDan, it doesn't sacrifice being a good battle shonen, and it doesn't sacrifice being a good romance anime. It finds this balance between the two, and it tries to appeal to everyone while also just being authentically itself, which is so brilliant. It is just such a good line to run, and it's what makes it a masterpiece, in my opinion. This is why it's one of my top 10 anime of all time.
The formative puberty years are the years that are a synthesis between the past and the future. The past, obviously, is your childhood years, and the future is who you will actually be as an adult at the other end of this very awkward ball-dropping tunnel. Now, it goes without saying that I think that the majority of DanDaDan is a metaphor for the puberty years, and that's why, of course, they're all going for...
Yeah, it's a coming-of-age story. This is definitely your fucking, oh god, there were so many in the 80s and 90s. Basically anything starring Freddie Prinze Jr. Anything that starred Freddie Prinze Jr. Your movies that like were in the 80s where it was like, fucking, I can't think of any of them. I can't think of fucking any of them right now. Fucking dude on a lawnmower holding, say anything. Honestly, almost anything that fucking John. Oh, God, dude. I gotta look up his fucking name now. Oh, God. Anything that he was in the 90s. John Cusack was in. There was a movie with the guy who was, like, Dr. Steamy in something. What was his name, dude? No, it wasn't him. It was Grey's Anatomy. It wasn't Grey's Anatomy that I'm thinking of. I can't remember what the show was, but it was like the curly-haired dude, and he dated the popular girl, and he paid the popular girl to date him, and they ended up actually falling in love. I can't remember what the movie's called, but that's what I'm thinking of. That type of era of movies, your Stand By Me's and stuff, really took up the scene, and I feel like we don't get enough of those coming-of-age movies anymore. Like, they still happen, but I just feel like they don't have the focus on what was important about those movies, about the growth with the characters. It seems like they're just kind of like, now it's like, instead of a coming of age story, it's like, oh, let's have them do a bunch of edgy shit and then talk about a personal message at the end and then the movie be over. And it's very one-dimensional, and I feel like back in like the 80s and 90s, they knew how to take these stories, even though they were cliched, and bring them above that. And I feel like that's what this does, is it looks at like some of the media like that, and it's like, how can I adapt that in the best way possible into a battle shonen?
fucking testicles. I know it's a little on the nose, and I know it's a funny joke. Turbo Granny steals his balls. They end up losing his balls. Random people go and they find these balls on the street, and they pick up his balls and they put balls in his pocket. If you're watching this goddamn video and you never saw DanDaDan, you probably think I'm a complete fucking idiot right now. But I am telling you, this is like a major...
No, dude, this shit's wacky. The fact that he loses his shaft, he has to go get his fucking shaft. He gets really happy because he has his dick again, and then he finds out that he doesn't have his balls, so he's just like fucking going through all these misadventures trying to get his balls back. I mean, it's very Austin Powers-y. It's very on the nose with its comedy. It knows exactly what type of jokes it wants to make, but I think it lands it for the most part. I don't think I got to anything where it never felt like it was landing the joke. It always seems pretty on point.
Plot point of the goddamn show. And on the one hand, it's like cheap humor, cheap funny, but on the other hand, it's obviously a metaphor for fucking balls dropping, bro. That's what this whole fucking story's about, and it just fits so well. It's almost painful to say it out loud because it's so obvious, but at the same time, it's so stupid. And that's why I love this show. But anywho, the puberty years.
Well, and that's what makes it brilliant too. Is it takes a concept of you dropping your balls and losing them and having to go on an adventure to get them back, which sounds like a stupid fucking concept and would be stupid in the hands of just about anybody else. But the writer understood how to make it brilliant. He understood all the other. He doesn't matter what the metaphor was. He understood the characters and everything else to make that happen. And then he's like, I'm just gonna make a bunch of dick jokes along the way because dick jokes are fucking funny and fun. Why not? Dude, I love making dick jokes on this channel, so I understand that like a good timed dick joke is so much fun. Now a lot of my coming dick jokes aren't good timed. I just kind of throw them out there like I'm paying off OnlyFans models, but I mean the point is if you're able to craft those into a well-timed narrative, you're a genius, bro. And that's what he was able to do. He made it more than just dick jokes. And if you were looking at just a breakdown of DanDaDan, you'd be like, oh, it's just a show about dick jokes, when it's so much more, and that's what makes it a masterpiece.
They're absolutely a synthesis of the past and the future. I think we could all come together to understand that. Now, the reason why I phrased it in this way is because there are two types of antagonists in the story of DanDaDan. There are the aliens that originally Okarun believed in, and then there are the spirits, the creatures that in the beginning only Momo believed in. Now, these two entities operate differently, and neither of them know of each other's existence necessarily. In the lore of the actual DanDaDan, they made it fucking awesome that the aliens would have been able to colonize humans by now. The only reason is that they don't understand how spirits work. And spirits are like kind of the lore as to why the Earth wasn't conquered was because the aliens can't figure out how to deal with that shit. And I think that's absolutely hilarious and awesome world building. But on the contrary, on the flip side, on a metaphorical level, aliens are sci-fi. They're the future, all right? They're trying to steal the main character's balls. I told you, this is a main theme. They try to steal his balls to repopulate their race. They're looking into the future, conquering future solar systems and future planets and shit like that. And when you look at the yokai and the demons, the spirits, they operate purely based on the past. Turbo Granny, for example, is a demon spirit thing whose soul ended up stuck in the corporeal realm because she couldn't move on because in this tunnel somewhere, a lot of girls were raped and tortured. And in order to have vengeance on these girls, her soul stayed behind to take revenge on anyone that would do something like that. The purpose that I'm trying to make here is it's the past trauma that keeps spirits tethered to this world. And it's the future of civilizations that bring the aliens here. These two antagonistic forces operate completely differently on different wavelengths, and both absolutely brilliantly represent exactly what the overarching plot of the story actually is. The humans are the only ones that can interact with aliens and with spirits. The humans, humanity, is the synthesis between past and future, much like puberty is the synthesis between your childhood and your adulthood. Now, as
that was a really good metaphor. It's subconsciously, I think we all, if you watched DanDaDan, you pulled that from that, but seeing it broke down in video format, that was actually really good. Fucking Nux can do more, and I think that this is a fucking amazing video so far. I really like this. That was just such a good breakdown right there. I mean, I'm so hard. You'll never be able to tell because I have a micro dick, but I am so hard right now for this video. I didn't know I was into blue men, but pretty gay for blue men right now.
As we know, there is this other character, the grandma character, who, by the way, holy fucking shit, I wish she would hit me with the 1,000 years of death jutsu, if you know what I'm saying. No one knows what I'm saying.
He wants her to take her old vagina lips and suck his blue head into her pussy and live in the crevice of her womb. That's what he wants. He wants to use his blue hair to crevice her inner vagina walls.
Because she's like the mentor character is what. No, that because she's the mentor character like Kakashi. That's why I
No, it was the vagina walls thing. Come on, Nux. We know what it is. It's the vagina walls thing.
said it. Not because. No, whoa, not because of. Stop, editor, cut this all out of the video. None of this needs to stay in the video.
It all needs to stay in because we all know what it's secretly about, and it's because he loves to lick the inside of Spirit Granny's vagina walls. He loves himself some Spirit Granny. He's going to make sure that it has as much. His whole walls are just spirit. He doesn't. They're like those silicone sex dolls, but he has them glued to his wall. And when he comes home, he just licks. He sideways licks his entire walls of just the Granny from DanDaDan.
But anyway. The grandma is the guiding older adult in your life, because when you go through puberty, hopefully you're not doing that shit alone. That is a really difficult part of everyone's life. And the high school years are probably some of the hardest portions of most people's existence. You don't know what your future is gonna look like. Your decisions are being made with a brain that is not fully developed, and yet they are decisions, and you will live with the repercussions of those decisions for your...
The one advice I can give you is don't just do a bunch of cocaine. That's bad for you. Also, drugs are bad. So just don't do a bunch of drugs. That's my advice. If you're like, oh, this puberty thing's hard, don't go find some guy to sell you drugs. That's the worst way to deal with it. Yeah, I've seen it ruin a lot of people's lives. This has been an anti-drug message from your boy King Jiffy Coates. Make sure to watch out for Cum Falcons and bad Marvel movies.
Entire life. The friendships you forge during those formative years are friendships that could last your entire existence on this corporeal realm. It's scary to think about how your fucking dumbass years from 13 to 17 or whatever are some of the most important years of your life, even though you are basically mentally handicapped. No offense to any 14 to 17-year-olds in my fucking audience. You are. You're basically mentally handicapped.
You're all fucking retards. You're big fucking dum-dums, according to Nuxanor. No, I didn't say this. I didn't say you were the biggest fucking retards on the planet. Nuxanor or Nuxtaku, those are his two channels. He likes to call all children fucking retards. Now, if you want to go on Twitter and say, wow, I can't believe Nux would ever have the audacity to call you a bunch of fucking mongoloids. He attacked kids by calling them fucking mongoloid retards. I'm not telling you to go on Twitter and say that, but if you do, it just happened and it wasn't from me.
I don't want to be the guy to break the news to you. I've been there. I remember being an idiot. Okay, I do. The grandma character is the character that actually cares and puts time in and cares what the children are actually going through at that given point in time. The mentor character that isn't just there to push them from class to class, but the mentor character that actually understands the struggles that they're going through, whether it's external struggles or internal struggles. And it's why her actual character in the show is so fundamental. She is the home base for the entire main cast of characters. Every time between battles at the end of episodes, the family bonding time between the adult that actually cares about the children and the children is such a
Also, I love the fact that they killed a giant fucking crab monster and then ate it. That's just so base, dude. They're like, oh, it was a giant crab. Why wouldn't we fucking eat it? That's just an awesome little tidbit that they did.
Mentally important concept and so powerful in regards to the growth of the characters. One thing that I absolutely love about what DanDaDan did with this character specifically is the fact that they keep her enclosed in her own territory. They fit it in very well to the lore.
I don't like the way he says DanDaDan. The song says it DanDaDan. I don't know. I don't like the way he says it. It's trying too hard. Stop trying too hard, Nux. We know you're a gooner.
Some sort of psychic power. She is a shaman of some degree, and she is given a specific pact with certain spirits in order to gain power, but she only has power within her own district. Now, within her own district, she's broken. She is the fucking Gojo of her district, alright? You ain't fucking with Granny in her
district,
alright? It's just not happening. She'll fucking stretch your asshole on a flagpole. However,
don't tempt me with a good time. If fucking Granny wants to stretch my asshole on a flagpole, we know I'm letting her. Nux already had it happen. He's got a bunch of sex dolls, remember? His walls are covered with sex dolls, and he uses the bat, and he calls the bat the flagpole, and he shoves it up his butt.
Outside of her district, she's virtually powerless, and therefore she can give guiding advice, but the actual battles need to be fought by our main characters. It's a really interesting way to make the overpowered character in the setting A great mentor, an overpowered character, absolutely breathtakingly strong, yet not always omnipresent, always there ready to pick up every flaw and every issue that ever shows up. I think the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen, as an example, was an issue in certain regards because
I have a problem with Jujutsu Kaisen because I lost so much interest after season 2. Like, I never was like fully in Jujutsu Kaisen like a lot of people were. I think I just need to restart it and give it another chance and just watch it from like season 1 through 3 or whatever we're at, because I lost interest and I just can't get myself to enjoy it for some reason. I don't know. I don't like it as much as everybody else does, and I feel like there's something wrong with me. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like Jujutsu Kaisen? Do you like Ju Kaisen? We're watching Nuxanor, so Ju Kaisen. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's not. It just doesn't hit for me, bro. It just doesn't hit. I need to give it another shot though. Maybe I'm just fucking wrong.
Single fight between
Naruto sucks though. Naruto's fucking trash. Everybody who thinks that maybe I need to give our Naruto another chance, you just have bad taste, and for some reason you were retarded enough to like Naruto with his talk no jutsu.
Main characters and the villains virtually ended up just being a fight. All right, let's just hold off until Gojo shows up and he obliterates their fucking face. You can't do that shit in DanDaDan. No one is coming to save you. You have to pick up your own shit on your own time, and no one is going to fix your shit for you. It's an important lesson, and also, again, tying back into the same metaphor, it is a metaphor for growing up. It is a metaphor for building your own life. Using this as an example, your parents could get you tutors, they could sit and study with you for your exams, they could be there for you, they could give you all form of time that you would need to study. However, ultimately, you're going to need to put in the work, you are going to need to take the exam, and you are going to need to pass that exam on your own. And it's like that for everything in life. Ultimately, your parents cannot spoon feed you, or else you will become a demented troll on the internet that doesn't actually care about anything and it kind of has a shitty existence. You can't be spoon fed your whole life. You have to build that shit for yourself, and that's what this show is. Your true battle.
Gotta pull your fucking bootstraps up, boys. Don't be yourself a little cook liberal tard. Don't be a libtard. You gotta push your bootstraps and do your things right. You gotta do it right there, boy. Nah, but for real though, you can't just like this is something like you can't you have to like rely on yourself on to a certain degree, or you're gonna hit life and you're not gonna be prepared for it, and life's gonna hit you fucking back, and it's gonna hit you back fucking hard, dude. You're gonna think you're ready for a dick slap. You're gonna think you're ready for that meat slamming straight into your face, but you're not, dude. Nobody's ready for that first dick slap. So you have to get back up and be prepared to be slapped with dicks time and time again throughout the rest of your life, but know how to sometimes slap those dicks away. Sometimes know when to grab one and pull yourself forward to let it know that you're not letting it slap, but you're using it to pull yourself up to the next level. And I think that's a really important message that everybody should learn.
Your true war is a war that you need to fight on your own, with the friends that you have made, with the people that are willing.
So basically the exact same thing I said with the dicks. So, Nux, I said it better. The dick metaphor is way better. You're grabbing and pulling dicks. You just don't understand. Because you don't know that you have to grab and pull yourself through enough dicks to eventually get to the pussy. So, you're just a sad virgin is what I'm hearing.
To put their life on the line to fight beside you. And that is the story that DanDaDan is telling you. You can't rely on Granny outside of her territory. Yes, you have an adult that cares about you, that is willing to put their love and effort and time into molding you and advising you, and their house will always be a safe haven for you. But ultimately, your real battle, that shit's on the outside and no one is coming to save you. DanDaDan is a celebration of the formative puberty years of a high school aged student. It is the bonds and the friendships that are forged between people and kids growing up and trying to become comfortable with themselves. An introvert trying to become extroverted to some degree, and an extrovert trying to be comfortable with her internal self. It is a fantastic story, a wonderful representation of everything that I've just described. And it's so cool talking about DanDaDan from an outward perspective, you know, like with all the cool battles, all the amazing animation, the glorious fight scenes, the fantastic music, all the funny moments, because it's freaking...
Dude, the fucking theme song, like I said, goes hard and make my baby dance like crazy. She'd bounce, she'd like, it was like, dun 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 dun, and she'd like do that little like baby bounce thing. It was so fucking adorable, dude, and she'd smile, and it instantly became my favorite. I usually skip, even 99% of the time, and DanDaDan's the 1% of the time where the theme song will start for an anime and I won't just instantly skip it, because it hits so hard so fast and it's so good that you just stop, look, and listen. And that's something that I think a lot of anime should look to DanDaDan and be like, yeah, that's how you do a fucking theme song. That right there. Because it's so often that I just don't, like, it doesn't hit me. That, or it's like, it's too jarring compared to the actual subject matter, and this was perfect. It was perfectly themed to the show. It was perfectly loud enough to be like, it's in your face, but the show's in your face. It was perfect. There was nothing better. Like, it was the best theme song ever put in an anime ever, and I will not back down from that. It was fucking perfect, and I never skipped the theme song once throughout the entire series, which is so crazy considering most anime I don't watch the theme song even once. So that's a fucking W in the column of awesome anime.
Hilarious, the comedy bits, the relationships. Episode 7, which I didn't want to talk about because I didn't want to spoil, but it's an absolute masterpiece. Episode 7 is straight up one of the greatest episodes in all of anime, and I'm not even hyperbolizing it, but this story in a nutshell.
Dude, the idea of the demon, I think in episode 7 is the one he's talking about, where it loses her daughter, and it has this like appeal to where it's like protecting this other character because it like sees her as her daughter. It's just such an emotionally powerful story, and that's the thing about DanDaDan, is it'll catch you off guard, and that's where I find the most brilliant shit, when it catches you off guard, where you don't expect it, and it pulls the rug out from underneath you. It's why there's a game, the reboot of Shadow Warrior. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on how great Shadow Warrior is, but the best part about Shadow Warrior is the relationship you like create with the Hoji, the side character that's like accompanying you because he's in a mask. He's along the ride the whole time. He's kind of like the shitty comedy sidekick throughout the entire thing. Somebody for Lo Wang to bounce jokes off the entire game. But by the end of the game, you actually kind of feel this emotional pull toward Hoji, and you understand the pain that he's gone through and through his past, and you get to see kind of the turmoil he's had to live through, and it takes Shadow Warrior from a game that's just about dick jokes and killing people as a fucking dirty ninja, to elevate it to a level that I didn't think it could be made. Because like, you play the 90s Shadow Warrior, it's just about like naked anime girls and a dirty old ninja. But then you play the Shadow Warrior reboot, and it's about so much more, and it catches you off guard. Now, is it the most profound thing ever? No. But I do think that the fact that it can catch you off guard is brilliant writing in and of itself.
Shell is so beautiful. All the battles fought, all the relationship drama. It is a celebration of youth and a celebration of children becoming adults. It is a celebration of life. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed. This has been my anime analysis video. It turns out I am back. I do these every once in a while when I feel like it and I have the time and I actually decide to do this shit. I am currently in the middle of watching Delicious in Dungeon. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to probably do a video if you leave a like and subscribe.
Ooh, I haven't watched Delicious in Dungeon. I thought about watching it, and I was like, I don't know. I watched, what was it recently? Campfire Cooking. It was like Campfire Cooking something. It is fucking, out of isekai anime, it's one of my favorite I have ever watched. Campfire Cooking as OP or some shit like that is so good. It's so good. I've actually been finding like some weird anime lately that has just been catching me off guard, and they've been coming from like the isekai genre, and usually that's like a trash genre, and I know it's a trash genre going in, but that one caught me off guard. I was like, holy shit, this is actually pretty fire.
Right, future anime analysis content. I guess the king must return because the plebeians haven't picked up his mantle in regards to the No One Understands series, so oh well, I guess your boy is back. I'll see you in...
Dude, this is great. If Nux can just do these every so often, I will have free anime content that I can just piggyback off of, and I will fucking love it. Because here's the thing. I used to do movie reviews, and I was going to do more anime reviews, and they're not that great. They were kind of rushed. I have time to, like, stream and do this shit and one game review a week while working a full-time job and being a father. I don't have time to also do the movie reviews, and I realized this. I realized that I only had a certain amount of time to play video games and also do the fucking game reviews, and I had to make a cut. So I cut my movie reviews, and it kind of sucked because I wanted to make more like deep cut movie reviews and stuff like that. But in anime ones, like I actually really had a lot of fun with my Oh God, welcome to Demon School video. I had a lot of fun with that video. I don't think it's the greatest thing out there, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I thought I was gonna do more, but I haven't. But I love reacting to this type of stuff and like actually like giving my own 2 cents and my own thoughts going through it and what I felt and being able to like do that and piggyback off of it. It's why YouTube's just such a fun platform. And it's like, oh well, you're not originally making this content. Yeah, but like if somebody made a great video and you can actually give it, even if it's a bad video, you can have your ideas now out there in the open and actually make your critiques and stuff and still have like that ability to present your ideas in a like a precedented format. And that's what I love about YouTube. And I hope you guys keep liking and subscribing to the channel, and or if you don't like it, dislike it. I mean, comment and do all that shit. Just fucking pound all of your genital juice onto my channel, and I want to keep doing this. I enjoy this shit so much, and I thank and love all of you guys for watching. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much, and I'm out of here.